G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of Space Survival. Alright, so in this episode I would really like to get this ship done, or at least mostly done, but yeah, there's a fair bit of work to be done. So first of all, I think what I'm going to do is queue up everything I need to actually build that thing. So I've got a list and I'm just basically going to queue everything up, and then we just got to wait for that stuff to be built. Before I queue that stuff up though, what I will do is probably queue up quite a few conveyor tubes, and I think I'm going to run a tube from where that large cargo container is underneath here and all the way out here to the side, and then yeah, so alright, let's queue this stuff up first, and once that's done we can come back and build our little tube. Okay, so I have been busy for a little bit just trying to figure out how much stuff I should really build. In the end I just kind of got annoyed with trying to build each individual thing, so I've just put like many thousands of different things at the end onto production, so like, you know, just all the basic stuff. I am waiting for a lot of other stuff to be built. This here is just for kind of like the large hydrogen thrusters, because they actually take a lot and there's like 15 of them. But what we do need is more iron, because we need 166,000 and I've only got 85,000, so yeah, we need to get some more of that. Also, I figured out where the gold actually came from that I had in the last episode. Turns out that some thrusters and like gravity generators and things like that have a tiny bit of gold. So yeah, that's where I got that from. Alright, so what to do next? I think I wanted to run a conveyor tube out from where this large cargo container is, but what I am going to do is grab a line of blocks yay long. I think, I don't know, 100 blocks maybe? Nah, maybe not that long, like 50 blocks long or whatever, and then project it from the conveyor port on the side of the large cargo container all the way through, and then I've basically got a clear path to drill straight to that conveyor port. And then it saves me having to run like, you know, 50,000 bends to get over this and down here like the most efficient way. It just cuts all that out, so I really don't want to deal with that. Alright, so actually, you know what? I might actually have a blueprint of this from a previous series. Well, turns out I don't have a blueprint for it, so I thought why not just create one. Alright, so this is pretty much what it is. You project this through the asteroid from where that conveyor port is, line it up, and then you basically grab your drill and then just drill right here on the X all the way through, and you have yourself a nice, perfect, straight hole all the way to the conveyor port. So I am going to get that set up. I honestly can't remember where this thing is. Yep, there we go. There's our conveyor port. Now, can I mount a projector right here? No, I cannot. Although I could mount it right there. That's alright, let's mount it here. So this part here is the front, that's the top. So place it down. And I need a control panel. Oh, actually, there's one on the cargo container. And conveniently, I can withdraw components from here. Alright, so now I just got to make a blueprint of that and project it from that conveyor port. Why am I low on oxygen? Alright, cool. So I have my projection loaded. As you can see, it's going through the mountains. So let's get this hole dug. Cool, and there we go. So we are straight through. So all I need to do now is just run a conveyor, which is going to be a bit of a mission. I think what I'm going to try and do though is let's try and do something a little bit sneaky. Well, I guess it's not really sneaky, but we'll go for local grid alignment, place a block there, and then what I'll do is put a conveyor junction here. So then what that means is that I can fly back to this cargo container and then basically put a put the junction here and run the tubes from here and still have access to this cargo container over here. What's down there? Interesting. Alright, everything is in the green and we're looking pretty good for that. So now that that is complete, I can get rid of this projector here because we don't need it. Now before I closed off that connection there to that cargo container, I pulled out some materials to do some other things. So now that this conveyor tube here is supported on the other end, I'm going to get rid of this here and replace it with a small cargo container. Alright, so the reason I've done that is so that I can then withdraw components from that. So, now we just need to run a conveyor down to the ship. So, I still don't know how I want to build this thing, if I want to print it or not. If I print it, I'm going to need to come at it from both angles. And I think honestly it's just going to take so much time to get that done. I don't mind weld ships, they're okay, but the only problem is that it's really hard to judge what to actually put into the cargo containers for them. And you often run out of one material and then, you know, you've got almost a full load of other stuff, so it's really hard to kind of do that. Whereas if you build by hand, you can just do each piece one at a time, you know exactly what you need, withdraw it, but it's tedious. So, yeah, I don't know. Either way, I am going to get a time-lapse of it, though, so that should be quite fun. Alright, so I've got my tube most of the way there. The only thing is, I didn't put any cargo containers in between, so this is going to take me forever to weld up, and I really can't be bothered grinding it all down again, so yeah, this is going to take a little while. Alright, so I've got most of this tube done. It actually didn't take me too long. I think it was like, you know, 5 or 10 minutes, something like that. So yeah, actually wasn't too bad. But the one thing that is bad is the rate at which I'm actually building stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is build another assembler, possibly even another 2. So I'm going to get rid of this rock drilling monstrosity and then probably put one just there. So alright, let's grind this down. I don't know if I want to go for another industrial one. I think I will. Why not? Of course I need the parts for it, don't I? Wait, hang on. Okay, place it down, get it welded up, and I think on the back of this one as well I'm going to put a couple of speed modules just to kind of help things out a little bit. Alright, so I have built the second assembler and I've put all the speed modules on. I could probably even put another one on the top there, but that's alright. I think it's good enough. The only problem is, for some reason, it has decided to only build these. And because my cobalt is refining so slow, it's building like one every second, so it's going to take like ages to try and build that. So I don't know how I can actually remove those from the queue without completely deleting this block. I did try grinding it down, so if you grind it down and then weld it back up, then it does grab other stuff. But it then kind of just like goes back to doing these. It's like, okay, we'll do these first and these. And why can't you do some more stuff? So yeah, I gotta wait for that to happen, and then
energy critical.
I don't even think I'm gonna bother doing another assembler, because if this one's doing that, then it's likely the third one will do the same, so it's not really gonna help me out. The question is though, do I build another refinery? Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Let's build another refinery. Although it won't have a yield module, so I don't know if I'm really too keen on that plan. I suppose I can just turn that one off when I don't need it to refine stuff so fast. So basically what I want to do is try and refine this cobalt as fast as I possibly can. Okay, cool. So that is the second refinery done. So that should hopefully speed up the rate at which this thing can do cobalt. Okay, so the one thing that is annoying me is this refinery. Is it actually doing something useful now? Yeah, kind of, but not really. So I think what I got to do is grind down the thing completely and then just build an entirely new one, but to do that, I'm going to put some blocks here to kind of hold these speed modules into place, because otherwise, well, apart from the ones that are embedded into the rock, actually, are they? That's alright. Alright, let's grind this thing down because it's annoying me. Actually, I need to empty it first. Okay, so we have our third assembler built. Well, technically the second, but it is the third assembler that I've tried. So, let's see what this one does. Yes, it actually builds the stuff it can build. So, now I can actually refine cobalt fast enough to build the metal grids.
Energy critical.
Alright, so I guess while I'm waiting for all that stuff to be built, I can take this thing down and get some iron, because we're definitely going to need it. Alright, here we go. So I think I should be able to grab about 100,000 if I'm not mistaken. Oh, did I empty this thing? Hopefully I did. Yeah, it's got a little bit of stuff in it, but not heaps. Alright, well, that's a bummer. I really didn't plan that out. Really didn't plan it at all. Well, because I had all that stuff in my inventory, I was only really able to grab about 80,000, so honestly, I think it should be enough to get the ship done, but I don't think it will leave us with much more after that. Alright, and we're back. So now let's just see how we're actually going for cobalt. I am curious. Alright, cool. So it looks like we've got plenty. So each one of these refineries has like, yeah, 300. So what I'm going to do is move everything out except for the iron and put the iron in the refineries, because I think we're going to need that first. Okay, so turns out we don't have enough iron, so I'm going to have to do another trip, which isn't such a bad thing, to be honest. But that's all good. I think also one thing I've been meaning to do for a very long time is get myself some better tools. So it says here that I can get an elite welder. Actually, how much platinum do I have? 5.33. Alright, cool. So I'll get an elite one of those. An elite grinder. Wait, I built 10. I don't want 10. Maybe I'll grab 2 of each. So grab 2 of those. And do I really need the drill? That's alright, I'll grab it anyway. So I need 4 ingots and I've got 5, I think. Yeah, so I think that should work out fine. Alright, let's put these to the top of the queue and then equip them. And just hope that I don't lose them. Cool, so I have my new shiny tools. I probably should have done that a lot sooner, although I could have sworn at some point you needed gold to get elite tools. So yeah, I wasn't aware that you just needed silver and then platinum for the other 2 levels. And here I was with these really shocking tools for that long. At least I could have built the other ones. What is it, the tier 2 tools? Yeah, but anyway, alright, let's go and grab some more iron. The only thing is, I'm not really happy with the progress that I'm making at the moment. So if you have a look at this production queue, it is just taking forever. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably going to take, I reckon, another 15-20 minutes to get through that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to have to twiddle my thumbs for a little bit. I would also really love to wait until daylight to get this thing done anyway, because you just can't really see anything. So alright, so I have managed to grab a boatload of iron. So yeah, I've got like at least, wow, nearly 200,000 worth, and I only grabbed 600 stone in the process. That's pretty good. Let's try and get out of here without crashing. Alright, there we go. Nice. Now, the only problem is it is so dark and I cannot see anything, so I think the safest thing to do would be to go very far away from where this ship is. So I'm I'm gonna turn just a little bit and then just go straight back. This way. Yep. And then make sure that I'm well clear of the asteroid and then go back. Alright, cool. So we're locked down. Alright, so I reckon we have enough iron for, yeah, a very long time. I think we are set for iron. So that is gonna, these drills are gonna continually try and push it out though to somewhere. I am curious actually how much we got though. Yeah, so it looks like we got 167,000, which should be enough for ages. Alright, so we're actually making some fairly decent progress with the production of all this stuff. So I still have quite a bit of stuff to go, but it's actually churned through it pretty fast. And I decided to build a whole bunch of power cells because I think I am just going to chuck another battery on the base anyway. So I'll quickly just go do that. And then I think I can get all of this stuff here ready. So I need to put like, I think what I'll do is I'll put a cargo container every so often and then probably extend it out to here, just so that I've got like 3 different points where I can access cargo and then just kind of get this thing built out. Like I said, I'll get a time lapse of that though, so yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that. Alright, and that's it, we're kind of done. So I think what I might do after this is put some blocks that kind of go down a little bit. So let's grab some steel plates and just place some blocks like kind of close to the edge of the ship, and then chuck some lights on the end of these, and I think that will work out pretty good. And I don't think we'll be able to weld it up in the dark. I don't think it'll be that good, but at least we'll be able to see a little bit of something. Alright, so I got all my lights built. Let's crank up the power of them and see if they will actually light anything up. Alright, let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's not too bad. It does light it up a little bit, but it only probably goes to about halfway, I reckon. And then after that, you've got to kind of use the character's lights. Okay, so while I'm waiting for stuff to be built and for the sun to come back around, there are a few things that I would like to change on this thing. So as you can see, they've used like window blocks for stairs and bits and pieces like that, and these as kind of like graded catwalks. But I'm just going to use the DLC versions of that stuff and replace all of this with like yeah, basically DLC catwalks and bits and pieces like that. Yeah, apart from that, I don't think there's really too much I want to change. Apart from these parts here, I might change for beam blocks. I might put in some armor here. Maybe these for beam blocks too. But yeah, I guess we'll see how we go. Alright, so I think I've got plenty of components built. As you can see, I've got like 19,000 steel plates, many thousands of all these different materials, so I think we should be alright. So, let's get started with this build and this time-lapse. Okay, well, I've managed to get a fairly decent amount of the ship done. We are extremely low on iron though. If I have a look in my inventory, let's just take a look. Yeah, so as you can see, we have 0 iron ingots left, and I need to build some of these metal grids to then get some of these here thrusters at the front done. So obviously they're a vital part of the ship. So yeah, need to go ahead and mine myself some more iron. And if I have a look at my inventory as well, I think we're running low on nickel and silicon as well. So yeah, I've got not that much silicon and not really that much nickel. So probably going to need to grab that stuff as well. But what I'm going to do though is probably finish the rest of the ship off camera, because it is going to be dark soon. It's going to be hard to time lapse it, because it's just little things like this. Other bits and pieces like putting in these catwalks and things like that. So yeah, I don't know if it's really necessary to get that on time lapse, because I've done most of the ship. So alright guys, I will see you once this is done. Alright guys, well, I have spent quite a bit of time off camera getting this thing up and running. So yeah, it looks like all the engines are done, all the plumbing is done. Yeah, basically everything is done, although it is telling me that on the projector menu there are a few things that aren't done, which is like I think a couple of random conveyor pipes. But yeah, honestly, as far as I can tell, everything on this ship is completely done. So what I would like to do is actually take this thing out and go to the moon with it. The only problem is that, yeah, it really doesn't have that much fuel. So I guess we're going to have to cut it loose and just see how we go. But before we do anything, what I would really like to do is kind of reinforce this section just a little bit. So I think to that end, what I'm going to do is run a whole line of blocks along here and then kind of join it up at the other side. Alright, so I've put a line of blocks all the way from this point here to this point here, and I've just kind of, yeah, cut it off with this little corner piece here. What I think I would like to do as well is run a line of blocks from this point here over to the other side as well, but I think I'm going to make it orange. Alright, and there we go. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think it might need some sort of a curvature to it though, but I'm not really too fussed about that at the moment. I suppose what I could do is I could replace it with beam blocks. Let's try that. Alright, and that's what it looks like with beam blocks. Yeah, it's not too bad. It could be a little bit better. I think I might replace that block there and that block there, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. I could sit around and mess around with it for ages, but that's alright. I'll leave it how it is. Okay, well, I think I'm finished reinforcing this whole structure. I think it looks pretty solid now. So what I've done is I've put some beam blocks underneath here, joining the underneath obviously. These side blocks here, I actually recolored them to be this battered armor color. And then, yeah, obviously, well, I made this kind of slope run all the way to this point here. And then it's kind of like cut away here, so it sort of matches this side here as well. So I think overall it looks fairly decent, and it's actually going to be 10 times stronger than what it was before. So like I said, there are 1 or 2 blocks somewhere in this thing that aren't complete, but I don't even know where they are. But it looks like all the engines are functional, so that's all I really care about. So let's just check the side ones. Here we have our 2 side engines. It is a shame that this thing only has 1 engine on the top. Alright, let's cut it loose and see what happens. Actually, you know what? Before that, I am going to adjust some settings. The next question is, will my respawn pod actually fit into the hangar of this thing? Well, looks like I made a little bit of a mistake. So it turns out the batteries on this thing were set to discharge, and every other battery, including all of the batteries in this thing and the base, were set to recharge. So consequently, this has 0 power. So now I have to wait like about 15 minutes for this thing to recharge to then dock it up to that, or hopefully, because I'm not actually sure if it's going to fit in the hangar. Let's just have a look. Well, this thing is 3 blocks tall, and the hangar itself is 3 blocks tall. So yeah, I don't know if it's really going to fit in there too well. Like, it might just barely squeeze in, but it's not really going to fit in properly, if you know what I mean. Alright, where else to put it? Is there some sort of a conveyor tube that I can hook off of and run upwards to kind of dock this thing up to? Alright, so we are docked up. The only thing I would like to do though is, before we head out, I would really like to grab some components. So maybe I might just grab ingots, and then from there, because I mean this thing has assemblers, it has refineries, it has all that sort of stuff. So if I bring some ingots, then that should be enough to get me out of trouble if I need to get out of trouble. And one other thing I should definitely bring is some ammunition. When I'm going to head over to the moon, I think I'm going to head towards this pole here. So I'm assuming that that is the south and that is the north pole, or vice versa. But I'm assuming that that is where the majority of the ice is located. So yeah, we'll kind of see how that pans out, but I guess I'm just going to head over to that point and we'll see how we go. So one thing I need to do is, do we have inertial dampeners turned on? Let's just check that out. Well, it looks like we do. So hopefully when I grind this thing off, it's not going to crash and burn. Let's see if that is indeed the case. Alright, and there we go. This thing is completely independent from any sort of base or anything. So it's kind of working under its own power with probably 3/4 of one hydrogen tank. Now, I did actually have to turn up the lights quite a bit because they were very dull. So I had to increase the radius and the intensity to quite a lot. Well, a lot more than what I would do anyway. Alright, so let's have a look here. Can we actually drive this thing? Is it going to move on me? I believe that at this point in time it is still a station. So let's convert it to a ship. And we don't have any clang. Alright, how much fuel have we got? 8%. Alright, let me just jump out and turn off the thrusters in the other ship. Alright, so all of the thrusters on the other ship are turned off, so what I'm going to do now is probably just head straight towards... I might just head in this direction here, the same direction that I'm heading in right now, just to kind of get out of the gravity well, and then kind of do a... I don't know what you would call it, so I've turned off my front thrusters here. So kind of like an L-shaped route to get to the moon, because I think getting out of this gravity well is going to help me out quite a bit in conserving fuel. Alright, so I've managed to travel about 120 kilometers. We're finally out of the gravity well, so I'm just kind of cruising at the moment. And, well, now we're back in the gravity well, but we'll get out of it again shortly. And I've only used like 1% of my fuel, so yeah, I think overall we're doing pretty good. So I'm just at the moment kind of aiming just in between the shadow and the light side on the top, and hopefully that will get me to the ice field, and then we can kind of get some more fuel for this thing. So anyway, I will see you at the moon. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure how far away from the moon we really are, but if I have a look to my right, I can see ice kind of shining from the sun, and on this side I can't really see anything. So for that reason, I am going to turn and head towards this part of the moon here. Let's just turn off the front thrusters. Fantastic, and then we can just kind of glide the rest of the way. So I have burnt up a little bit of fuel just kind of searching for this spot. Yeah, and as you can see, I don't have any oxygen either, so I need to kind of get back into the respawn pod and use the survival kit in there to actually get myself some oxygen, at least until I can get some O2 into this thing, and then get the, what is it, the medical room built, which is like the souped up version of the survival kit. And then after that, then I can actually recharge in this ship. Alright, well, looks like we've reached the ice fields. We are now in the gravity well. So I think I'm going to turn on my front thrusters here. Actually, I'll turn them off for a second. I'm going to find a bit of a better landing spot. We might land over here. Over to this relatively flat spot. It's not really that flat, but it's flatter than the rest. And let's pray that we do not run out of fuel. Going too far forward. Alright, I'm gonna just like kind of park where I want to land, and then just turn the inertial dampeners off. Let's level out though before we do that. Alright, there we go. Okay, let's turn off the inertial dampeners and then just fall down to the planet. Alright, let's slow down here. Man, I really should have grabbed some oxygen beforehand. Once again, planning just takes a backseat to everything else. Thrust a little bit here. I think we can just kind of thrust down to the planet. Let's see if we can park about there.
Is low.
I don't want to die. No.
Health critical.
Come on, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. Oh no! Oh, yeah, I was never gonna make it. See, this is why I brought the survival pod, or the respawn pod, because I knew I would be respawning. I knew I would be dying. All right, let's grab my stuff. All right, awesome, and we are on the moon. That's pretty cool. Wow, how's this view? I do believe this is going to be the thumbnail for this episode. Alright, screenshot achieved. Okay, so what do I want to do first? So, well, I need to build an ore detector because I can't find anything on this planet anyway. After that, I need to get myself some ice. Oh yeah, really? Ice? Who would have thought? Yeah, so I need to build an ore detector. In order to do that, I need to mine stone, unfortunately. Again, I know. And then once I do that, I can build one of those. Put it on, I think I'm going to put it on this ship. And this ship here is just going to kind of like stay here as like a bit of a base. So it looks like the landing gears are locked down successfully. Let's just check the rear one. Yep, the rear one is locked down, so we shouldn't be using any fuel. Yeah, so I'm really happy with how this thing has worked out. It's worked out really well. Alright, so let's mine a little bit of stone and get an ore detector happening. Well, looks like we finally have enough components to get our ore detector built. Oh, looks like the oxygen tanks are full. That's quite nice. Yeah, the oxygen farms are doing absolutely nothing though. Okay, so I did grab a bit of ice as well as a bit of stone as well. So the hydrogen tanks are kind of filling, although it's going to take a lot because I think there's like 10 or 12 large tanks on this thing. So yeah, it's going to take a while. Alright, let's grab the components for this ore detector. And I'm going to slap it, yeah, pretty much on the back of this thing. That'll do. Let's place it there. In fact, I'm going to make it this color though. So let's just quickly recolor that. And there we go. We have our ore detector. So let's see what we can pick up in the immediate vicinity. Silver, iron, ice. I do actually need some silver. I need some nickel too. Silicon. What else have we got? So nickel, silicon, ice, obviously, ice, iron, and silver. And that's pretty much it. So what I need is gold and platinum. So let's do a little bit of a flight and see what we can find. Well, I didn't have to go too far to find gold, so I found gold. Now, where would the elusive platinum be? Let's just see. Alright, so we got gold about 700 meters below us. I'm going to try and get immediately above it and then set a GPS marker for that. Alright, I think that's close enough. Alright, so let's mark this. Moon Gold 1. Sounds good. Now, do we have any platinum? What's that? Ice. I already know about the ice, thank you. So I can still actually pick up stuff from here, which is pretty crazy. I do need to get a little bit closer though, because I have a feeling the platinum is going to be very, very deep into the moon. Oh, we got some more gold over there, but that's alright. I've already found one deposit. I don't really need another. Well, here I've been wasting my time searching the surface of this moon, only to discover that, yeah, this planet doesn't actually have any platinum on it. So in order to get platinum, I'm going to have to go to the moon, which is a little bit unfortunate. So where's my ship? Over there. I made sure to drop a GPS marker for my ship because I wasn't sure if it was actually going to show up, but yeah, I'm glad I did that because it turns out that it isn't showing up. Alright, so I'm just going to go for the gold. So where was the nearest gold that I had? Oh, looks like there's some gold down there. Where did I actually put my... I wonder how far down this one is. Well, looks like this deposit is what? 550 meters underground? So, yeah, that's pretty far. I don't know. I don't think that ice is down that far. I think it's just the gold. Alright, so we have a fairly long way to dig. The only thing is, I can't really use this drop pod or this respawn pod to do the work for me because, yeah, it's really just not going to, yeah, be able to dig a hole big enough for itself, and I'm probably going to spend more time actually trying to get it down there than it's actually going to be worth it. So I dare say I'm going to have to mine a lot of this gold by hand. But I don't know if I really need that much, but I'm going to grab as much as I possibly can anyway, so... Well, anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I've got time for in this episode. So, just before I go, though, I probably should go over the fact of, like, why I'm actually searching for gold. And the main reason is to get the jump drive on this thing here done. So, I think from now... Ooh, nearly crashed into it. I think from now, the plan is to get this jump drive done. Once I have the jump drive done... by mining gold, then I can head off to Mars and get myself some platinum, and from that point I can actually build some ion thrusters. Now I do still need to go to the alien planet to get uranium, but I don't know if I want to introduce uranium into the game just yet, so we'll see how we go. Maybe in that whole kind of trip to Mars and then back to my base, maybe I'll just do like a detour to the alien planet and then back to my base, but you know, we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, really hope you enjoyed the episode and also the big time lapse, and I will see you next time.